I don't know why no one's saying it, but we don't actually need the Epstein files. Pam Bondi has thoroughly disgraced herself by promising a whole bunch of shit and after weeks not delivering on any of it. Somehow she was dumb enough to think that 200 pages was like all the Epstein documents. Like, girl, have you ever been on the internet? I'll show you where the Epstein files are. See, look, Julie gave you the link right there, vault.fbi.gov. There's like 10,000 pages. There's blackouts all over them. Click on that link, it'll bring you here. See, brings you here. There's all these different parts. When you go to them, look, 104 pages in this one. The first ones are always these indexes. And then everywhere where you see a rectangle, that's a blacked out redaction that we could have unredacted. Look, a whole page of redactions. That's crazy. Look, Rodriguez was employed as a chauffeur, butler, house manager for blank at blank. Wonder what that says. Residence blank. Rodriguez worked for blank for approximately 6 months. Rodriguez stated that blank. That would probably be pretty useful if that was unredacted. According to Rodriguez, redacted. Look, Pam, a page that you could release. And there's all kinds of pages just like this. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents like this already in the FBI vault online. There's handwritten notes from victim interviews like this. Jeffrey Epstein purchased tickets to blank for holiday break Xmas. Wonder what that means. Who picked her up? Man, this would sure be useful to have unredacted. Someone felt uncomfortable, went home to blank. Jeffrey Epstein said blank and blank. Thought that meant he would pay. For what? Talked to blank and blank, number from blank. Geez, this page seems to be clearly discussing more plans to travel with them, probably to the island. And all of that is from an interview conducted by SA, meaning Special Agent blank. And its subject was biographical file on blank. Who knows who it was? Gosh, sure would be useful. I mean, you could still even protect the victim's identity and just fill in some of the gaps. If the DOJ was at all serious about doing anything about this, there are infinite leads that they could currently be chasing down to actually bring people to justice. People that are still alive and still engaging in these activities, because these activities are still being engaged. And you know what? You don't even need to go to the FBI files to start bringing down the big fish. I got one for you right here. Meet Leslie Wexner, the bankroll behind the entire Epstein operation. Homeboy is the CEO of 3 different prominent companies that have been operating sex trafficking rings that have now been exposed. But just so we're clear, he is still scot-free, living in Ohio, doing old mob boss shit on his 336-acre super mega mansion. It's worth $47 million. He's doing great. That's $47 million of human trafficking money. And in case you've never read One Nation Under Blackmail, let me give you a little bit of details about Leslie Wexner from this book by Whitney Webb. Seriously, Pam Bondi could just read this book and she could bring down like 10 human traffickers tomorrow. In 1990, as previously mentioned, Epstein had become head of the Wexner Investment Company and Wexner's top money manager, ousting his predecessor, Harold Levin. A year later, in July 1991, Wexner had handed near complete control of his affairs over to Epstein in a far-reaching power of attorney document. This is big. The document, among other powers, gave Epstein the ability to ask, demand, sue for, recover, collect, and receive all sums of money on Wexner's behalf, as well as take over, buy, sell, or transfer property, tangible or intangible. That's insane. That means that Jeffrey Epstein could buy and sell Leslie Wexner's companies at will. He could manage all of his money and assets at will. And this power of attorney is significant because it means that Epstein could engage in these activities without Wexner's knowledge following the signing of this document. Thus, after this point and up until the 2000s, it is hard to know what decisions of Wexner's may have been made solely by Epstein. And that's the strategy piece, is Wexner uses this as a shield to say that he had nothing to do with it. He got fooled by Epstein. It's probably just a coincidence that Leslie Wexner's other giant fashion brand, Abercrombie & Fitch, was also running a sex trafficking ring targeting boys. This just broke this year when the CEO got arrested and charged. Just couldn't help this tidbit. Under the leadership of CEO Mike Jeffries, Abercrombie & Fitch underwent a meteoric rise, focusing on teen fashion and specifically the good-looking, cool kids, as in all the little boys that Mike liked to fuck. So in 1988, Leslie Wexner's company, The Limited, bought Abercrombie & Fitch, which is also Hollister. And then he immediately put in Mike Jeffries as CEO. Mike Jeffries was Leslie's guy. I'm sure that is just a coincidence. Oh yeah, and then the company launched a children's product line, Abercrombie Kids. Hooray! And now when you search for this information, it's come out that Mike Jeffries is going to take, dementia as his excuse. He's had dementia all this time that he was raping boys. We should probably just let him off scot-free. I'm sure Leslie Wexner had dementia for the 30 plus years that he was bankrolling all of these gigantic human trafficking, sex scandal, blackmail rings. Not to mention when he founded the Wexner Heritage Foundation, the Wexner Foundation, all these foundations that are specifically about empowering Israel and advocating for Israel's international interests. Oh, what's up, Gigi? That's not to mention when he founded the Mega Group, which by all indications was a group, a conglomerate of very powerful, specifically Jewish billionaires that was devoted to somewhat below board operations to promote Israel. Espionage. Back to a few more gems from Whitney Webb. Former Israeli intelligence official Ari Ben-Menashe, so he's an ex-Mossad spy, alleged that Epstein's sexual blackmail operation was created at Israel's behest specifically to blackmail President Bill Clinton. Ben-Menashe specifically said the following. This is the quote up there, but this part that Whitney added is more concise. As previously mentioned in Chapter 6, Israel had allegedly been behind the effort to blackmail President Carter through his brother Billy Carter. It is also worth noting that Epstein's blackmail operation is believed to have been set up in 1991, the same year the Mega Group was created by Epstein's closest associate, Leslie Wexner. Also, right when Epstein started managing all of his money. Also, right when they bought up Abercrombie & Fitch and started a trafficking ring in Abercrombie & Fitch as well. And oh my God, it's just a conspiracy. These are just made up opinions by Whitney Webb. She's just a conspiracy theorist. Like, you don't even have any evidence. Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but these are the sources cited for just that single chapter about Leslie Wexner's philanthropy. That's one chapter. All of those are sources that you can check yourself. So Pam Bondi, it's really cute that you're doing all these media appearances and pretending to care and pretending to be transparent with the American public, but we see through it. And if you were really here to bring criminals to justice, to stop human trafficking, to save the kids that are being trafficked by the tens, hundreds of thousands to this day in America, you have endless places to start. And you could start by just going off of any of the publicly available information about all of Jeffrey Epstein's many co-conspirators and just going and poking around, maybe do an interview, maybe ask a few questions. But something tells me that if the Epstein files implicate Israel, which they do, we're probably not gonna get them from Pam. It's a little awkward out here right now.